Dealing with the ongoing litigation over Illinois' gun and magazine ban, the Congress apparently is looking at their own type of gun ban. Now, I've been really deep in tracking all of the different cases in Illinois. You've got the 2 Supreme Court cases that we just talked about. You've got the Southern District of Illinois that's taking up the Federal Firearms Licensees of Illinois case, trying to suspend the January 1st deadline to register. That's going to be December 12th. But you also have the Joint Committee on Administrative Rules. They're going to be hearing about the most recent second to notice rules from Illinois State Police on those gun ban rules. But while I'm deep in all that, you've got members in the U.S. Senate trying to advance different types of gun control legislation. And let's go ahead and hear what some of the debate has been. Chuck Schumer posted on Twitter what he wants to see happen. Here's a bit of the video of he posting about what he wants to make ultimately the law of the land in the United States.
That the Judiciary Committee be discharged from further consideration of S-25. And the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration, that the bill be considered read a third time and passed.
Is there objection?
I object.
Here are the facts. The scourge of gun violence in America is a national crisis. The American people are sick and tired of enduring one mass shooting after another. They are sick and tired of vigils and moments of silence for family, friends, classmates, co-workers. Today, Democrats have moved to pass the assault weapons ban to help rid our streets of these deadly weapons. We still feel the unquenchable suffering of the families of Sandy Hook, where 11 years ago, next week, 26 innocent lives were cut short by an automatic weapon. I still see the pictures of those little children, and I still remember, because I speak to them all fairly recently, the parents who have a hole in their hearts forever because some madman with an assault weapon was able to kill 26 of them, one after the other. We still feel the agony of places like Buffalo, where a year and a half ago, a gunman murdered 10 people in cold blood at a Tops grocery store. I was at that grocery store a few days later. I still feel their pain. We feel the pain of Uvalde, Las Vegas, Orlando, El Paso. The list sadly goes on and on and on.
And Schumer goes on to talk more about it, but let's go ahead and hear what some of the Republican opposition had to say. You have Senator Mike Lee addressing this as well in comments that he made on the Senate floor about the proposal.
We're being asked to pass by unanimous consent today without additional debate, discussion, opportunity for amendment, opportunity for input by the public. The bill that is S-494, the Background Check Expansion Act, has some real problems with it. Problems that I think make it a bill that stands to transform, in some circumstances, ordinary, law-abiding citizens into criminals. We always have to consider this when evaluating any law, particularly any law with criminal implications, that touches on a constitutionally protected right enumerated in a constitutional amendment.
And I think that's really the crux of all of this. You've got stories of shootings that happen, people killed by individuals using firearms, either gang violence in Chicago or deranged individual going into a school or a bank to try to make a political point, as we recently saw with one mass shooting. So you've got all of those factors, obviously, but that interest balancing has been pushed to the side by the U.S. Supreme Court. So when it comes to outlawing things constitutionally protected, Mike Lee saying that you got to be cautious about all of that. So what exactly is going on with the Senate, and what were they trying to pass ultimately? You've got the Illinois State Rifle Association recently sharing comments on Twitter as well. And let's go ahead and pull this up. Why we got no audio, not sure. But let's click through and see if we can get this so you guys can hear it. This is... oh, I know why, because I had it muted. Here we go.
A need for a national...
All right, rewind that. It's live programming, folks.
Hi, I'm Doug Mayhall, president of the Illinois State Rifle Association, and I'm here for another update. Governor Pritzker continues to go on national TV talking about a need for a national gun ban on commonly used firearms, just like the unconstitutional ban he passed here in Illinois last January. What he doesn't talk about is the mass confusion this law has created, and that nobody, including his fellow Democrats who wrote the law, can explain this new law. As a result, law-abiding gun owners in Illinois remain in a state of confusion thanks to the incredibly vague rules the Illinois State Police have released on Governor Pritzker's registration scheme. And we don't blame the Illinois State Police. It's a badly written law that won't make us any safer. What's more, when leading groups, including the ISRA, testified at public hearings which were held to address these concerns, we were met with a resounding, "We don't know, and could you submit that question in writing?" Again, there will be federal court hearings coming up soon on these rules, so stay tuned. In addition, we expect the rules to keep changing throughout this month. And again, the ISRA is warning gun owners to wait until the outcome of these hearings and changes before making any decisions on registration. Rest assured, the ISRA will remain on the front lines and will continue to stand up to Governor Pritzker in the courts and in the press to keep this unconstitutional ban from becoming law in other states as well.
So you've got the Illinois State Rifle Association warning that some in Washington, D.C. are trying to take Governor J.B. Pritzker's gun ban and implement it nationwide. So clearly some concerns there as to what happened in the Senate yesterday. But the ongoing concerns, just wanted to make more clear from the Second Amendment Foundation. I talked with Alan Gottlieb yesterday, and he spelled out kind of what happened, right? Because, again, I was monitoring the U.S. Supreme Court Illinois filings, trying to find that out, and I saw messages flowing in about what was going on in Congress. So reached out to Alan, and we chatted just briefly. He kind of gave me a good rundown of what was going on in the U.S. Senate.
Senator Chuck Schumer has announced that he wants to bring a gun ban bill for semi-automatic firearms to the floor of the Senate. And today he tried to do it, but he needed unanimous consent to do it without having it on a calendar. And the Republicans obviously wouldn't go along with it, so it didn't happen today. But he's going to try to bring it back probably, either at trying to get the 60 vote threshold to be able to get it to the floor, or probably try and bring it as an amendment to another bill that, quote unquote, he thinks that he could force more Republicans to vote for it. So it's not at this juncture, but he's got some hurdles to try and get over to get it, onto the Senate floor and get a vote. Then, of course, Greg, in all honesty, if he gets it to the Senate floor and gets a vote and was to pass it, he still have to get it passed in the House, in the House, which is another hurdle he'd have to go through. But of course, if he's able to get anything passed, there's no doubt that Joe Biden would sign it into law.
So I asked Alan also just to kind of, compare what was being proposed in the U.S. Senate that didn't advance, but what was being proposed. How's that similar to, say, Illinois' law that's being challenged in the courts? How is that similar to, say, the assault weapons ban of 1994?
Pretty much 1994 with some bells and whistles added on to it to make it a bit more strict, is what our understanding at this juncture is. But there's also another bill that's been put into the hopper in the Senate by Senator King from Rhode Island that redefines what assault weapon is by not calling it an assault weapon, but calling it a gas-powered gun. And but what they mean by gas-powered gun, it means that the platforms of like AR-15s pretty much work on the fact that when you fire a bullet, the gas from the explosion of the gunpowder helps recycle the bullet from the magazine into the chamber. And so instead of calling it an assault weapon, they want to call it a gas-powered gun and try all over again to get around some of the lawsuits that they haven't won, ones they know they're going to lose. And so they're trying to just redefine it and give it a new name.
So Alan also spoke to the political posturing that really is evidence from the U.S. the U.S. Senate having this vote, putting people on record, getting these statements out, getting these videos out, having the media talk about all of this. Is this more to do about the likelihood of getting something like this passed, or is this more to do with heading into the primary season and also the November 2024 election?
Well, I think part of Senator Schumer's bringing this bill, trying to get the bill to the floor for a vote, is trying to some of the political posturing for 2024 in getting a vote, so he can try and say that they're for saving lives and Republicans are not. Of course, the thing is, in the battleground states, it may not play out the way he'd like it to play out. But a lot of the Democrats, the Democrat controlled leadership, it comes from cities, San Francisco, New York, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Chicago, and so the problem is that they're in an echo chamber. So while it helps rally their base in areas where there's no chance for them to lose anyway, and no chance for Republicans to win, it sounds great to them in their echo chamber. But out across America, in other districts, it doesn't play that well. And I don't think they're looking at it that way, but I think they're posturing and trying to, please their base, and and they talk to themselves. And most of the leadership represents districts that don't support gun rights. So, they pat themselves on the back, but it doesn't really get them anywhere.
So obviously, the political posturing is fascinating to talk about, and it will be something we continue to cover every day as we wake up and bring you Bishop on air. Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow along. Click that notification bell as well. Also, I asked Alan to react to the low registration numbers in the state of Illinois when it comes to the gun ban registry. And as we've been tracking, you can see these numbers here. The total number of individuals who have completed a disclosure, 4,800 of 2.4 million firearm owner identification card holders. That is 0.20%. 0.20%. So 0.20%. Not even a half of a percentage point, not even a quarter of a percentage point of firearm owner identification card holders. Now, say only half of the FOID card holders in Illinois have a banned firearm. Then what? You can assume that the registration rate's then 0.4%. Either way, it's something that Gottlieb reacted to.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. The non-compliance rate is very great. People don't trust the government at all, and they just won't comply with it. So while they put these things on the books as law, they really don't work, and I think that proves it. And the non-compliance rates aren't going to go up very much from where they're at right now.
So Gottlieb just reacting a bit to both the national gun stuff, but also the state gun stuff as to the registration numbers. So good to chat with him. Hopefully you guys got a little bit more understanding what's going on in the U.S. Senate, but obviously we'll be tracking that as well here with Bishop on Air. Got to take another just short break, so stay with us, all right? It is right here, Facebook, Twitter, X, YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow along, and be sure to share the video with your friends who are interested in what's going on with Illinois' gun ban, all right?